To aisle or not to aisle? That is the question. Hey, how to crew, it's Andrea here. Where to sit, where to sit. If you fly to Southwest, you make this decision all the time, but here's where to sit for every need. Front is great if deplaning first, getting your food first with all the options, and lots of legroom is your thing. Also, if kids are your thing, bulkhead is the jam. This is the area between the dividers. Has lots of room for your little troublemakers to cause lots of chaos. Now, these seats are gonna be bad if you hate kids, and also a lot of airplanes board these seats last. So if you have a carry-on, this could cause major issues because overhead compartments might be all filled up. And then you have to check.
Who checks bags anymore?
Who checks bags anymore? Move to the back of the plane because that's where all the cool kids get on the plane. If you're sitting in the rear, some airlines like to board that first, which means you get first dibs on overhead bins, and that's usually where the open seats are, so you can spread out and take over. And if you're a douchebag, that's where the flight attendants hang out, so maybe you can make it into the Mile High Club. Hey, hey, hey! Now there are some bad things. Long wait to get off the plane, limited food options, more turbulence, and that bathroom line can be noisy and smelly. So now that you have that figured out, are you gonna go aisle, window, middle? Just kidding, no one wants middle. The aisle is great if you have long legs, you just want to spread out into that aisle. Also a great way to trick people. Oops. But when you're in that seat, you realize how many people throw elbows when they're not at the clubs. They're just like, I'm going to the bathroom. I like to think of it as MMA training. Bonk. The window is my seat, so if we're on the same plane, I will fight you for it. It is great for sightseeing and sleeping. If you're smart or just have way too much time on your hands, you can actually check to see which side the sun will be on, so you can either sleep better or get a great photo of that hashtag sunset, hashtag 30,000 feet in the air, hashtag blessed. And also I've heard that the left window seats are better for sleeping because the windows are off center, so it's easier to rest your head. Although I cannot verify that, so let me know in the comments below if that's true. But window seats have zero leg room, so you really have to want that seat. Exit rows are the golden ticket for lots of leg room in economy. Speaking of exit rows, if you fancy yourself a survivalist, you want to sit near there because most plane crash survivors are actually within 5 rows of an exit. There was a really cool documentary called The Crash, which actually tested what happens during a plane crash. The first 7 to 11 rows, so usually business or first class, are actually the fatal zone, and they got hit with 12 G's of force, whereas the crash test dummies in the back of the plane only got 6 G's. I don't want to sit in first class anyway. Who wants free champagne? You figured it out, now how do you get this seat? Well, early bird gets the worm, so as soon as you book your flight, call the airline, try to get that locked in, or be the first to check in online. Also, you can use seatguru.com. This gives you all the metrics of most of the planes, like which seats have limited or more leg room, which seats fully recline or don't, all the good stuff. Okay, a lot of plane seat stories have been making the news. Do you have one?
Totally. Okay, so there was a guy who was abnormally big. I'm talking like 450 pounds, right? And he felt really bad about taking up the better part of my seat too. So he's like, I'm really sorry. You can sleep on my shoulder.
I feel like he might be a really good pillow.
He also might be a really nice man. I didn't take the time to find out. I was just so alarmed.
Have you had any generous passengers next to you? Let us
well,
know.
too generous? Let us know in the comments below. Ooh.